So yesterday, BTT viewer Frank Carrozza turned me on to a brewing theory here on the internets about Avengers Age of Ultron and the Marvel Cinematic Universe as a whole that's so compelling, so potentially true, that it deserves its own episode. So what did Frank say? Well, and by the way, these are potential spoilers. So if you don't want any potential spoilers for the upcoming Avengers Age of Ultron, which I'm going to discuss here, and how that might affect the Marvel Cinematic Universe going forward, stop watching. But if you want to know why Kevin Feige is being uncharacteristically quiet about the upcoming slate of Marvel films, well, let's talk about it. So what did Frank say? Well, Frank has a theory about the brewing civil war in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which would make sense. As we all know, Robert Downey Jr. likes to have things focused around his character, Tony Stark. And of course, Civil War is Captain America versus Iron Man. Their ideologies and also physically, that, having two separate teams, which is something that looks like it actually might happen. This is the rumor that's brewing. And that would also put a spotlight on Captain America, who's become an incredibly popular character thanks to his second film. And even when I was talking about that poster art that leaked for Avengers Age of Ultron, we saw that Captain America got the second best placement on the poster after Iron Man. So we're going to eventually see them facing off with one another as they go to war. So this is Frank's theory, and I think it's very good, and then I'm going to loop in some other things that I did some research on this. I was so intrigued that really paint an interesting picture of what Marvel has planned, and it makes a lot of sense considering what we're not hearing and what we are hearing. So Frank says, it's been confirmed, sort of, that Avengers 2 will end with Captain America creating a new team of superheroes. Yes, I have confirmed that is a very valid rumor from very reputable sources, and we'll discuss more on that in a moment. But let me continue with Frank's theory. He says, I believe the events of Age of Ultron will create a rift between Cap and Tony, which will lead to this scene and begin the MCU's own Civil War storyline. It will not be the exact same story arc from the comics, obviously, but there will definitely be shades of it playing out on screen. And then Frank has another excellent point. He says Marvel has officially announced an entire slate of films to be released all the way up until May 1st, I guess I might as well call the month of May Marvel at this point, but May 1st, 2019. Now they're planning through 2028, but we have no information on that. Almost 10 years of movies, but Marvel knows what they're going to be apparently. But we only know through 2019, and Frank continues saying, I believe that the 2019 date is reserved for Avengers 3, giving us a 4-year phase 3, which will be the longest phase ever, Frank points out, where each movie will tie into the Civil War that's taking place, perhaps different battles. Just the other day, talking about Captain America 3, we discussed, maybe it is a better idea for each movie, instead of going off on its own adventure, to be another building block in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the main storyline. For instance, we saw S.H.I.E.L.D. have to be taken down because of the Hydra infiltration in Captain America the Winter Soldier. Very interesting. So Frank says this will probably start this Civil War. So I think that's fascinating. And Frank continues to go on to say, well, the reason that they would have this rift is because Captain America, as we all know from the Winter Soldier, was pretty unhappy with S.H.I.E.L.D. and the way they were handling threats. They felt, fear isn't freedom, or this isn't free. Some very, very powerful and forceful lines coming out of Cap's mouth. He wasn't happy, and he didn't make it a secret. But he doesn't have to worry anymore because S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't exist. So the theory that Frank and some others are saying is that maybe, Ultron comes about because Tony's like, well, if S.H.I.E.L.D. doesn't exist, let me just replace it with a computer program. Although, considering that it was a computer program that was hacked at the end of Captain America the Winter Soldier, I'm surprised no one saw this coming. But anyway, of course, as we all know, Ultron turns evil. So maybe Cap might be like, this is enough's enough already. Everybody is corrupt. Everybody doesn't do the right thing. I'm going to go and police the world myself. And I'm sure he'll find out it's not that easy. Now, all right, now we're getting into some genuine spoilers here. This is all very theoretical. Now we're going to get into something that you might be disappointed. Although, if Marvel can keep this a secret, my respect for them will only increase exponentially. So there's apparently a script maybe floating around, or a couple of variations and outlines, whatever, and it's gotten to the hands of some internet bloggers. And they're saying that there's going to be a scene at the end of Avengers Age of Ultron where Cap says, you know what, Tony, I'm forming my own team, and the team is going to appear. Now, apparently, Marvel keeps changing the roster. They're very, they want to get the right roster, because this is going to be maybe Cap's team and Captain America, whatever the third film is called. So this is very exciting, and why, maybe we haven't heard a Black Panther announcement or a Captain Marvel announcement. And the rumor is that of all the scripts that people have seen and all these different, team lineups that are being considered for this new team to be led by Cap, Captain Marvel is on it. Or, as they're calling her in the scripts, Ms. Marvel. Now, maybe Marvel Studios is like, well, we can't call two people Captain. We can't have Captain America and Captain Marvel. But I would say, yes, you can. And I think that calling a character Ms. Marvel in today's day and age would just not make any sense. Just call her Marvel or something. I don't know. Just call her just Carol Danvers, or come up with an entirely different name. Carol Danvers has had so many. There's no reason that she has to stick with just one. But anyway, this also ties in, so Carol Danvers will be introduced, and it makes sense because Cap would know her because she has a military background. She was an Air Force fighter pilot, which would be very cool. There's been a lot of coverage recently about female fighter pilots and how their numbers are small but growing, and they do fight or fly on the front lines. So I think that would be a really great direction to go in with that character. And then the other thing, what did I want? Okay, so Captain Marvel will be brought in, and you have the military background. So I think that's a really great idea. Oh, yes. And so the other thing is that, as you might recall, Marvel has been very clear and recently made an official announcement, or semi-official, that they don't want to do origin stories, right? So they don't have to do an origin story for Captain Marvel. She can just show up. And maybe that announcement is to justify this reveal of this new lineup of teams. So expect to see Ms. Marvel. Now, who will play Ms. Marvel? Now, of course, the front runner actually is Emily Blunt. She's been flirting with Marvel for a long time. Of course, she was Jon Favreau's original choice for Black Widow, but had to bow out because of a contract obligation to star in Gulliver's Travels, one of the worst probable situations to ever happen to an actor. But at least she honored her contract. Good for her. And then also she was circling the Captain Marvel role in 2012, apparently. There were rumors about that. And of course, she had a really great military look and really held her own in Edge of Tomorrow. I thought the role was, a very secondary role, but I think Emily Blunt, it was really cool because she looked great and she looked like she could do more than she was being asked to do there. So why not have her do it over for Marvel? So the point is, she has a relationship with Marvel. She's negotiated with them in the past. They like her. She's definitely on their radar. And she has the look from Edge of Tomorrow. So she's shown that she can do it. I think she'd be a very likable Carol Danvers. There is some concern that she's been box office poison up until this point. I always mention that. It has always been a problem for the movies that she starred in, but I think Marvel can handle it. I think they don't have to be that worried about it. And, this would be a great break for her. And I think she'd be a very likable character and add a nice dynamic to the group with Scarlett Johansson and Elizabeth Olsen. So I think this is very exciting, and I'm curious as to who else you think might be on this team. Do you think Black Panther will just show up and Kevin Feige will just sit back and smile and be like, I told you guys, and Kevin Feige you trust. Don't worry about it. And what do you think of this, Frank's point about such a long Phase 3? And do you like the idea of this maybe a whole war to show its length? How do you do a really long conflict in a single movie? Here's the answer. When you have a cinematic universe with 2 to 3 movies coming out a year, you just have it carry from movie to movie. Sort of like what Peter Jackson does with his adventure for The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. And that's, I think, very exciting. And if these stories are all linked together, how do you miss one? It's genius. It's brilliant. It's the next evolution in comic book movie storytelling, and DC is just going to be like, crap. It's so much fun to watch these comic book movies evolve, not just on screen, but behind the scenes. And whoever they have working over at Marvel is their architect. Maybe it's just Feige, but whoever that team is, it really is worth every penny that Disney is paying them. And I'm sure it's quite a bit of pennies. So what do you think of this theory? Write your thoughts down below. Do you want to see Emily Blunt walk out there? How much will you freak out if she's introduced as Carol Danvers or anything else? I would be so excited. And do you think T'Challa will be standing next to her? And what do you think of Cap's new team? And who's Tony going to have left, right? Very, very interesting. Because I think Black Widow would probably go to Cap's team too. But maybe the Civil War storyline was so famous in the comics because it really divided the superhero community down the middle, because it's not just a war, but it's a war of ideology. Fascinating situation, and let's see how this develops. So thank you, Frank, for your theory. Everyone write your thoughts down below, and you can check out some more episodes right now.